cast. I think these 4 people were already on board, and I think one came last to me. And then when they wanted me to do a film, and I had 2 kinds of stories, and one story was similar to what Karthik Subbaraj was doing. I heard that there were some similarities. So then I thought, what about a short story that I'd written about 10 years ago about 2 daughters and a son coming back home for their parents' 50th anniversary, and the confrontations and the conflicts that they have, because the 2 daughters have lived abroad all the time, and when they come, they feel even more like, stressed because they're not there for the parents. That was my idea of a short story many years ago, but I hadn't completed the short story. Thanks to Amazon, I completed the story, and I changed the son to a daughter to accommodate Shruti. So I wanted to have all the Hasans. I mean, I still consider myself a Hasan, Mani Ratnam, yes, okay. But unfortunately, a week before the shoot, my father met with an accident, and he fell down and broke his collarbone. So Katadi Ramamurthy came in. Otherwise, it would have been all Hasan cast. So it has me, Suhasini Hasan, Mani Ratnam, and then Anu Hasan, Shruti Hasan, and Komalam Charu Hasan, my mother, who's coming into films after seeing Kamal and myself and Mani and my father and Anu Hasan, Shruti Hasan, and she's the newcomer into film industry. So it was a casting coup of sorts, but it was not difficult, because we had these pictures on the wall for the for the set. It was so easy. I could pull it out from the album and do it. I didn't have to beg my artist, please give me a family photo, give me a childhood photo of yours. I could do that. There were advantages. There were many disadvantages, I guess. I mean, it was fun working with my family, except everybody thought I was like being very strict with my mother.
I think one of the things that I felt is that because there were restrictions on the number of people you can employ, primarily for safety reasons,
right,
it sort of took me back to the time that we used to make films in the Film Institute, like with a very limited crew.
Correct.
And in this particular case, we were also having, a person in the cast who is not a conventional actor, but is actually acting really for the first time on things. So I wanted to use multiple cameras. So with a very limited crew and 3 actors, so I'm just left with 1 lightman, 1 camera attender. And so it's really slim production around it. And on top of it, I have a lady who's somebody I really respect a lot, like Leela Sampson. And I got to make sure she's safe through the shoot. So there was one element of, my God, nothing should happen to Leela and nobody should get infected during the shoot. So this was really worrying while we were doing. But the moment we had a reading, we found that everybody is really into it, and the performances really started, going up. And since it's a very small unit, it's very intimate. So I kind of really enjoyed the process. But I'm even more curious to see how others have interpreted the same brief, so it's like, 5 different melodies being composed in 5 different houses, which now are all going to come together, and, it's going to reach it's like 5 different tunes coming together. I kind of really fascinated by that.
So when Shalini and Aparna approached me, it was about hope, new chances, new beginnings, happiness in the times of the pandemic. So to me, what came instantly was romance. I thought that's the happiest phase of a person's life, apart from when having food, I think. So I said, okay, fine. So if I came up with the story, I was going to do it. If I didn't crack it, I wasn't going to do the film at all. So then this just came in 2 days. It just sat there, and then I told it to Shalini. I told Shalini this, and she was like going crazy over it because she found it so, warm. And then I think it just fell into place. And romance is always fun. I love it.
Well, I think I've already been there. So when the call came in, it didn't seem so daunting and challenging. And I think between Reshma and myself, we decided that she'd write and I'd just direct. Of course, it's not just direct. I mean, you still have to, give the script what it actually needs and everything. But she wrote it, and it came to me on a platter, and I just had to sit in Tamil dialogues and everything. But what seemed daunting and challenging later was to have Rajiv Menon sir's name, along with mine, or my name along with his, and then I worked with him. So
Correct.
when I heard that, I told her, I don't think I know, I'll do this. Honestly, that's the first thing I said. But she just said, come on, let's just go ahead and do it and all that. So thanks to Amazon for giving me the opportunity to put my name somewhere along Rajiv sir's name, So it's like, life coming full cycle, so to speak. So I enjoyed the process. And having said that, we went into filming with a master craftsman like PC Sriram sir, and I really looked forward to that. It was a huge learning and humbling experience for me. Actually, I've always been wary of working with the greats, and we have two cinematographers on the show here today, Rajiv sir and Suhasini ma'am, and I dare say that I've always been wary of working with the greats, but this was such a huge learning experience for me, and I'd like to thank Amazon again for setting this up, for giving me the opportunity to do that. And in the film, there is MS Bhaskar and Ritu, two brilliant actors who sort of, we just had to talk the script to them, and they gave it to me again on a platter. So it was a great experience.
Actually, it was not so different because I came from making short films, right? So I actually felt sort of, because during Nale time, I used to be sort of a competition where I used to make short films, and my co-contestants will be like Nalan and Balaji Mohan. But this time it was Gautham sir, Rajiv Menon sir, Suhasini Madam. So I sort of felt like going back to the Nale time. So it's actually very kicked about because Bobby was cast at my film because he used to act in all of his short films. So we actually felt, okay, I think this Corona has actually taken back to where we started.
As a cinematographer, I never shot my own film because I thought that it would affect my directorial space. So I would either be a cinematographer or this thing. But there are commercials where I kind of shoot and direct. But because we had three, artists, and we were working in a fairly large space, I had to shoot and direct. And I kind of really enjoyed it because it was a lot of handheld and there was a lot more intimate kind of shooting. And I kind of learned that I can do both during this period. So it was a learning experience for me, and I kind of really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's time that we value the things that we have and not try for something that we don't have. Especially the SPB's death has kind of shaken all of us, and it's time we started recognizing the love and talent that is around us. I think my film is something like that. A family is concentrating on one person who's very special to all of them. And some people in the family have actually had some conflicts and confrontation with that particular relative, and they're kept away from that person. But the pandemic brings all of them together. We all grew up in big joint families. I mean, today's children are not, they don't have the luxury of growing up in a large joint family. Somewhere, I think the pandemic kind of put in that joint family concept again. I think we should spend a lot of time with people we love and say sorry to them and say, I love you, because it might be too late. If you don't say I love you, and if you don't say I'm sorry, and if you don't say like I really admire you, it might be too late. I think my film is also saying the same thing.
But the thing is, Kalidas and Jairam sir were fixed in my head. For Urvashi ma'am, I had to find somebody who was like Urvashi ma'am. And for that, that was a difficult search. And then she suggested Kalyani. And I went back and I looked at some of Kalyani's performance, and she was terrific. And once you watch the film, you'll understand why I had to choose these four, especially Jairam sir and his son.
Well, I think these ideas and scripts will not get to be in a feature film in the first place itself. That's celebration by itself, and your whole short division and everything. You're actually filming for the content and not worrying about the magic or the mood of the theater and will the audience be affected 10 minutes into the screenplay. Should a particular lengthy shot be there? You're not thinking of all that. So I think what the question is trying to find out is what I'm thinking. I think it's very liberating in that sense itself, from the concept to the length to the way you film itself, and like I said, how can you convince a producer about a story between a grandfather and a granddaughter? It's done 25 years ago, but it's not going to be so easy now. They're going to be asking you who's the hero and what the business is like and stuff like that. So I think that's what this movie is. Yeah.